What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 28 of my Total Warhammer 3 Drycha Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Drycha has finally finished off the poxmakers of Nurgle as well as Kugath, so the entirety of the Dragon Isles is ours, and it should be making pretty okay amounts of money, especially once we get the Mathlan A Lord of the Deeps upgrade, since that is an increase to the port income, which should be pretty nice. At least finally a territory that isn't a territory with a great tree that we're willing to actually keep. There's certainly a possibility for us also keeping some of the Bretonnian territories, because there's a decent number of ports there, but they're obviously a lot more exposed and likely to be taken over by stuff. And then something like this, which, frankly, once these territories are safe, very few factions are going to bother to go up here. I suppose if the Elves of Tor Elisor try to come up here, then maybe, but who else would? And these guys are all busy here, so yeah. Anyway, in addition to that, the Haunted Forest is ready for its ritual, so Drycha will be making her way here. Hopefully not picking up a plague on the way as well. We should maybe sail out by sea if we want to go there. Yeah, that's probably the better way to do it. Although, wait, you can't land here because this is all cliff. I can't quite tell. Can you land here? Maybe. I do have to wonder. Wait. I genuinely cannot tell. This is land by the looks of it. I think you can't land on any of this. Well, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll travel by land anyway. Or we could just go by sea here and then land at the Shattered Stone Isle. And blah, blah, blah. Well, whatever. Let's see what we gotta do. We got 3 battles that are basically set up right now. I suppose 4, but this one's gonna take a turn or 2. Akka is ready to attack Thorgrim here, who has a somewhat damaged stack, but still a lot of good stuff in there, so that should be fun. And in addition to that, I believe defeating Thorgrim gives you a plus 10% research rate to your lord, or to your faction, whatever, which we desperately need. I mean, there doesn't seem to be a lot of ways of acquiring the extra research rate, and why did we drop by 20%? What happened there? Huh. I am not sure what that's actually from. Well, we hopefully will remove that by time or by defeating Thorgrim a few times. In addition to that, we've arrived with Daemonhunters at Athaloran, so we have 3 armies here all ready to attack. I think we'll start with the dwarfs, ease on into it, and then we'll do the battle against the Wood Elves right after. You know, let's do the fight immediately, though. Wait. Maybe we want to trade the World's Edge Archway to Vlad. First, I just want to see something. World's Edge Archway to you. Don't bother with the money, because we have enough. And I just want to see, will Dusty still try to attack World's Edge Archway here? Or will he give up on it now that it's Vlad's? We shall find out shortly. Now, Akka, I want you to attack Thorgrim. I kind of expect him to run, but we'll see about that as well. And let us get you a healing potion, I think. I mean, it's unlikely that you're gonna die, but we did get a couple of extra healing potions, as between the episodes I did a little bit of a of item fusion, so a few of our gray items are gone, but we still really don't have enough items to outfit everybody, or at least not good items to outfit everybody. So yeah. Anyway, okay, let's get your point, and that is going to go into... Let's see, we could get another point in regrowth. I still don't know what to get here, to be perfectly frank, though. At 30, we are running out of points. We could just go for Home Amongst the Boughs. Here's the thing. The army that I'm envisioning for Akka will be sort of a half-and-half army. He's not going to be the Wanderer, or I mean, he is going to be the Wanderer forever, but he's not going to be the Speaker of the Wild forever. Are we going to give the Speaker of the Wild to an army that's entirely a beast army, so that it can fully benefit from this, even if the upgrades aren't anything crazy? Whereas Akka is going to replace these Dryads and probably at least some of this stuff, maybe the Hawks, with a few other things, namely some Treekin, as he can buff them pretty significantly with Skin of the Woods and Verdant Growth. Which means we could definitely benefit from starting to put points into Ancient Bark, even if we're not using it right now. That said... There's still other things that we could get here. The question is, I suppose, whether we want to do so right now. You know what we could do? Let's put 1 point in Mentor. I don't know if it's worth it to put 3 points in Mentor on various lords, but at least 1 point on every lord seems like it's a decent compromise. And just so that every lord is sharing some XP, rather than none. And then the rest of the points wherever we can. Because wasting, well, not wasting, but using 3 points is also kind of steep, as there are other places to spend them. Anyway, oh, we also do, you know what, we'll go for Quartermaster next, I think. As I said, we do want to get Quartermaster on every single army eventually, because we're a little bit limited in the amount of money that we can generate. Alrighty, to Thorgrim you go, and he is in fact not going to run. Well, 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 Thorgrim, I have to appreciate that. Hopefully we can steal your Razor Standard from you. Now, you have a lot of grudge throwers and a lot of range units, frankly. Yeah, this is not a good army to face off against us with. Akka's army is way too mobile. You're gonna have a problem. Though I suppose pretty much everybody's had a problem dealing with Akka so far, so I don't imagine it's going to go any differently. Here we go. Alrighty, here we go. Akka's been fighting dwarves a lot throughout this campaign, so I'd like to think he's pretty adept at it. As for the army we're facing off, I mean, in theory, this is a pretty good stack. I mean, 4 units of Thunderers, the 3 units of Iron Drakes, plus we got all this artillery and stuff. In theory, it's pretty good. In practice, this is absolutely terrible, and I don't think that they stand any kind of chance, mostly because, once again, they have barely any melee units, and we have very high mobility here as well, against perhaps an orc stack, especially an orc stack that couldn't Vanguard deploy right in their faces. Yes, this probably would work out well, and especially if not in the hands of the AI as well, but generally speaking, we just have the type of army that counters this. So here we go. Let's see what the enemy can do. The Thunderers are obviously gonna thunder. Thunderers like to thunder, and they're going to try to attack Akka, which is a complete waste of time. Akka's going to counter them immediately with the Assault of Stone, as well as an Awakening of the Wood, stopping these 2 units from firing as they try to back off from those range, from those abilities, rather, and allowing us a few extra seconds of reprieve as the main force, or the center of our line, hits the enemies. Now, we have also deployed our giant wolves to the side here. We have deployed our bears and our giant spiders in the trees to go through the side here, and then of course our hawks are coming in shortly as well. But in the space of just a few seconds, almost all the enemy range units are already tied up. Their artillery is about to be tied up as well, and then, well, there's not going to be much that they can do. It looks like the enemy is using its gyro, I want to say bomber, to bomb Akka specifically, which feels like that's a horrible waste, but more power to him, I suppose. Maybe they think that if they bring him down, the rest of our army will fall. Our hawks are also going to surround that poor gyro bomber, and is going to start taking damage real quick from that number of hawks. Finally, there's something the Hawks can do well. Damn, look how quickly they dropped its HP. Alright, I'm gonna try to use the Hawks to try to swarm air units a little bit more, as this seems very effective. I'd love to see how effective they would be against Azazel, or against a Bellicor, or I don't know, a dragon or something like that. Then again, we have tried to use them to attack the Lords of Change before, and they weren't super effective, but not 2 units at once against a single Lord of Change, and not as buffed as they are here. So maybe. Anyway, it looks like the enemy range units are all pretty much screwed. The Iron Drakes and the Thunderers are all done for. The enemy melee line is still fighting, but there's really not much going on anymore. And Akka's able to peel away from the rest of the army and start getting a little bit of a duel going with Thorgrim. Thorgrim hits pretty hard, he's got lots of melee defense, but Akka himself is no slouch. Let's see, just at a comparison here. So Akka doesn't hit as hard with the weapon strength, but that's without the buffs, and he can buff himself considerably. He has slightly more melee attack as well, and just very slightly. And yeah. There we go, now he's activating his abilities, and when he does, he hits harder than Thorgrim. And I think their stats at this rate are pretty even when they both use their abilities, so not too bad. And Akka will get better over time, though I don't imagine that we'll need him to, at least not in this particular battle, as the only unit on the field will be Thorgrim very shortly, as everything else is just swarmed. Good job to all these hammerers. The melee line's still holding in the center here, but they're also completely surrounded and gonna have some hawks drop onto them as well. I was hoping that the hawks, by dropping into them and using their mass, would actually knock a few out of the press here, allowing more of our units to hit them, but apparently not the case. Oh well, with that I do believe the battle is just about done. The rest of our units are simply chasing off what they can. Thorgrim is still fighting. He's still fighting, and he is fighting with his runesmith, and I believe there is an engineer back there. And are these hammers unbreakable? No, they are very much breakable. And if they are breakable, they will break. And I guess we can watch the rest of the duel, but yeah, this is not going to be a very long battle at all. Now I'm wishing that you could get more, more lines in the naming of units. I'd like to add some sort of dwarf slayer sort of thing. Beard collect, I don't know, something for Akka. He's slain so many dwarfs, and now he's destroyed the Slayer King, and while he hasn't quite yet destroyed Karazakarak, I do imagine he should be able to take care of it soon enough. In terms of damage, it looks like Akka's now at full HP, having popped a healing potion, and Thorgrim runs away at about half. The rest of the army just needs a quick chase, and we're good. Should be able to destroy the entire army before they can get off the field as well. 3 units in the Grudge Thrower, does that make them remain active? It's less than 10%, so I would imagine not. But maybe it's not 10% anymore. I feel like they switched it between the second and the third game. Man, between Total Warhammer 2, like thousands of hours in Total Warhammer 2 and SFO specifically, there's so many like habits and things you take for granted that got switched with the third game, and I'm still getting used to them. Even though it's been out for a while. Anyway, close victory. Close victory. The hell are you talking about? Let's check out the damage here, because I really don't think it was much, and we barely even cast anything. Well, there we go. Not too shabby, less than 10% losses once again. Apparently a close victory, but I really don't see it. And that's a lot of high-tier units that the enemy lost. Here's some hammers, some iron drakes, and yeah, pretty happy with that. Unfortunately for Thorgrim, this is definitely not the kind of army that would work well against ours. Dwarfs in general being vulnerable to high speed and high maneuverability armies, but on top of that he had barely a melee line to speak of. Really, Ungrim's Slayer armies were much more threatening to this, just due to the damage that we deal, and the fact that this army has no ranged units to punish their Slayers. We are going to, I guess, heal up. I guess. Go heal up, I wonder. Now, here's the question. First, oh, another Forest Spirit, and another Forbidden Rod. Very nice. Elder Scout, and there we go. Grudge Killer, research rate plus 10%. We don't really care about the construction cost, but still swell. And there we go. Now we're back up to 90, at least. That's a turn immediately off of this. But yeah, we gotta try to farm that particular trait. Maybe if we send someone via the world routes to the Forest of Gloom, as in somebody that isn't Akka, to kill Thorgrim specifically to acquire the trait. I don't necessarily think that Drycha needs it. I feel like we gotta give Drycha more fighty traits, and this is hardly a fighty trait, but it is a good one to have. Now, we have two options. We could oh wow, it's worth nothing. I was gonna say wait for the sacrificial grounds, but there really doesn't seem to be much of a point. I mean, we could just erase this place then. Of course, we won't heal, but we're pretty much at full HP anyway. We do have to then book it back here to take out Dusty before he takes out Mount Gunbad, because I really do want our allies to keep hold of that. I do wonder if there's a... Let's see, Crookback Mountain has iron, Mount Silver Spear has marble. There's definitely some stuff down here that we could benefit from having. Nice. Alrighty, well, either way. Mount Squighorn, let's erase you via an auto-resolve. I don't imagine there's anything like a good garrison here. A little bit of damage, and yeah, just erase it. I mean, I guess we could occupy it, but they'll just take it back. Then again, do we risk Akka doing the Wanderer thing and then just walking halfway across the map again? You know what, just seed it then. It's not like we got too much extra movement range right now. And another Scroll of Blast, another Scout Headsman for Akka. And what we need is... Wait, do any of our heroes provide... Well, extra... Let me just see here. No, you don't have Scouting. Oh, really? Okay, so I don't think any of the heroes that we can access have Scouting at all, which is going to be problematic for finding more stuff. But oh well, what can you do? Also, I just had a thought, which may be a little bit problematic. Won't doing this, as in activating these guys... Wait, what's the conditions for long victory here? Objectives. Victory conditions. Okay, we don't have short campaign victory yet, but we will as soon as we have these. What's the long campaign victory thing? When the following battle, Defense of the Oak. Oh, okay, so we have to activate the battle and do the Ritual of Rebirth, because I'm thinking that the endgame scenario will activate as soon as we do that, and I do definitely want a few more army types before we get there, just for the variety, if nothing else. But fortunately, this won't be the end, so we're good. Alrighty, next up, let's do some buildings and admin, and then we'll move on to whatever else we need to, as in another fight. Talzin, or Griffinwood rather, you're good. Talzin, you... I guess you can get this upgrade. I mean... Oh, I also noticed that you don't have the Branch Wraith building. You know what? Let's get rid of the Deepwood camp here, at least for now. We already have one at the Waterfall Palace, which we probably also will at some point get rid of. But for now... we definitely want to get the Branch Wraith building in every single territory. We need more Branch Wraiths. Like Tala, our Branch Wraith Lord doesn't even, or our Dryad Lord rather, doesn't even have a single Branch Wraith, so yeah, he definitely needs some. Kingsglade, fine, let's upgrade you then. Let's upgrade you. It's not like we're really waiting so much for these things. I mean, we are, but we aren't as well at the same time. And Jungles of Qian, we are waiting here for the winery slash the Sculptor's Nexus, or Artisan's Nexus, though, so we'll keep hold of that. Haunted Forest. We are at 2, and in 3 turns we'll upgrade, so I guess we'll hold off on everything else. Fine. Avalorn. I think a few more turns, as in we'll wait a few more turns, but it's soon going to be time to actually start dealing with that. As in building something up there. Alrighty, well, it doesn't look like we have much else to do in terms of admin. I think that was pretty much it. Let's just move whoever else needs to move. Ooh, for example, Tala. Let us, well, first of all, we should march up here close to Prague, but also we don't want to be in the Kislev territory because we don't want to take this plague because it's quite annoying. Now your army is a little bit beat up, but I think we can deal with that. What we do want to do is probably give you the last point. You know what, let's give you an Inspiring Presence here. Ooh, wait. You should probably get Regrowth. Alright, fine. Let's get your Regrowth. Then, what about items? You have Potion of Healing, you have Trickster's Shard, an Opal Amulet, and an Armor of Silvered Steel. I think we can do better. Let's get you... Armor of Fortune... Wait, what does Akka currently have? Tala's Armor of Silvered Steel, Colas we don't really care about right now. Durthu has an Armor of Destiny. I can't for the life of me remember what we gave... Akka, but he's definitely earned himself something strong. Oh, he has a Helm of Discord. Yeah, but we can put that on a hero and then give that to him later. Yeah, that's fine. Definitely gonna need to swap out some of these items. But for now, let's give you the Talisman of Endurance, and let's give you the Armor of Fortune, and a hand weapon, I suppose. Ogre Blade, sort of Strife. Well, sort of Strife. There's other good stuff, but you're kind of in a dangerous position, and I don't want to necessarily risk losing a lot of stuff, especially while you lack Dryads. Then we're going to put you into Ambush Stance. And I'm going to put you right, well, I guess as far as you can go. Let's say right here. 90% ambush success. I certainly like that, and well, if it isn't Throtton, ooh, he's got a War Mammoth as well. Well, when he actually attacks with all of these armies together, plus there's probably a stack in here. Oh, that's very dangerous. Well, well, we have to deal with it now. In fact, if we're going to deal with that, I think we need some reinforcements. So, Ikirin, we're gonna recruit you some stuff, especially since our money is in an okay situation right now. Let's do this. Just take what you can get. I'm not gonna give you items, because I don't actually care about you living. But we are gonna put you right here. Right behind Tala. Alrighty, and you cannot go into any stance. Why don't these guys have a channeling stance? It's so irritating. The lack of ability to cast stuff is certainly annoying on a few armies. Alright, well, I guess you're gonna go into regular stance then. Too bad you couldn't encamp. Let us give you points, however. I don't know whether we'll actually be using you, but let's give you a Call of the Woods. You know what, we could get you Flock of Doom. Or we could get you Pan's Impenetrable Pelt to support Aka's army. It would mean bypassing Call of the Woods, but maybe it'll be worth our time. You already have access to a basic version of Flock of Doom, though. Oh, but you won't be able to cast anything anyway because you don't have the mana for. Wait. If Tala ambushes, the mana will be, or the power reserve rather, will be Tala's. So you technically will be able to cast. Alright, fine. Let's get your pans. I don't think we'll need it, but let's not risk needing it. And then power recharge via Wild Heart, or another point in Flock of Doom. Honestly, it'll probably be Tala casting anyway. You know what, let's get you Call of the Woods. Buff up more units, and then let's get you Aspect of the Oak here. And there we go. Hopefully these guys try to go for Kirin only to get ambushed by Tala. Hopefully also that it's not these guys who try to do it, but rather hopefully it's Throt. Also, Tala, you've defeated Throt already, haven't you? Metal Storm, Butcher, Sapper, Scourge of Mankind, Rex. No, you haven't. Oh. Okay, well now we really want you to defeat Throt because it's a great trait. Yeah, nice. Alright, oh, also, I saw Doctor retired, and I just remembered that the Fecundites actually still exist. They haven't gone up here for a while, which I guess is good, but nonetheless, we'll have to keep an eye on them. Anyway, Durthu, you're about to move, Colas, you're about to move, Daertok, you're about to move, Dalsith. I was gonna send you down to Mount Thug, but I think Deluric can grab that for us, so let's actually send you to the Valley of Horns instead. Right here. Hopefully there isn't a massive full stack there, because we're in March stance. No, okay. Okay. Worth the risk since we don't have to take 2 turns to get there, and we'll just keep taking Greasus' territories. And yeah, now it's looking like we're gonna keep Dulcith. He's done too much work, and he's level 9, so... Yeah, maybe he'll be our wild unit, especially considering that the bonus versus large would be particularly good against ogres. So from a loreful aspect, or a emergent storytelling aspect, I suppose, Dulcith having acquired the ability to do better against larger units, having fought all these ogres, it does make sense. Anyway, Daertok, Isalal, well... You guys maybe want to return? I mean, you were gonna go into the Air Force Army, weren't you? Or at least one of you was gonna go into the Air Force Army, so that we have some flying heroes. Maybe it would be better with both. Alright, fine. Start moving back. And oh, I just remembered that we probably want to generate an army at Paravon, so that we don't lose it to Bartorg here. So, alright, fine. What do we have here? Pageant of Strikes and Lamentations of Despairs. I don't like either one of those. We'll have to keep an eye out. Hopefully these guys get replaced without us, you know, recruiting them and then done recruiting them. Mostly because it's just annoying to repeatedly do so. Oh. There's another Akka who we can recruit for free, but once again, the money doesn't really matter. Oh, there's a Blight of Terrors guy. Okay, yeah, let's go with the Blight of Terrors guy, who's also free. Like so, and I assume you have Dark Heart. Oh, you have Flock of Doom instead of Dark Heart. Well, that's kind of unfortunate, but whatever. And then we will simply get, not allied recruitment. Ooh, although, let's double check allied recruitment. Still no Mortis engines, eh? Game, come on, give us Mortis engines. We're also at 93 with this faction. Huh. Oh, we also have to figure out which aerial units we want to steal Sky Lantern. And these guys do have access. No, they don't. Yeah, I was thinking about getting a few extra units into our Air Force army, a few aerial units, but I don't see any need to get Sky Lanterns because they're kind of trash. If you had Terrorgeists, maybe we could have grabbed a couple of Terrorgeists along with our dragons, but like this, I don't think Vargeists are worth our time. They're too fragile, and without Invocation of Nehek, I don't think they're worth it. They'll be essentially similar to Great Hawks, and then if we get them into a bad situation, they'll just disintegrate, so yeah. Alrighty, you can get the free units here and stay there, but at the same time, recruit a couple Great Eagles. In fact, you're going to recruit 4 Great Eagles, because we got a transfer, or 3. Is it 3 Great Eagles or 4? Damn it, what was the plan again with the Air Force? Let's say 3 Manticores, and damn, we haven't spotted a new Manticore lately, have we? Really need one. Maybe get a 4th Great Eagle until you can get a Manticore. That makes sense. And we don't have one on any of you, do we? Nope. And let me guess. Nope. Okay, I was just checking in case they, by being in different territories. Anyway, so we get 3 Great Eagles here, 3 Manticores. You will keep the Great Hawks, then 3 Heroes, 2 Glade Guards, and 1, or Glade Captains rather, and then 1 Caster Hero, all on Great Eagles, and then these 3 spots will be filled with Bats, or possibly later on, well, Bats for now, and then later on with allied stuff. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense to me. And I believe that's everything we have to do right now, so it's time to declare war. You guys, you're allied with the Torgavan faction, so we're gonna declare war on you immediately. And here we go. Good, all of our allies joined us. And Durthu, you, my friend, I think you can attack this by yourself, whereas these 2 will work together to attack Val's Anvil. Although, now that I think about it, if you go here and help with this, you might actually be able to move in and help Durthu as well. In fact, I'm curious to see whether that's the case. Wait. I thought these guys were allied. We're not at war with you? Why are we not at war with you? Defense of allies, WYDRIOTH. Did these guys decide not to join war? Well, that's interesting. I definitely wasn't expecting that.
So, by the
Not necessarily a good thing either. No, cool run. They're probably not gonna like any of this either. How much would it cost to get military access? You know what? Just to get that, just get that.
done.
They might be able to hold some territories for us, maybe, if we don't betray them to take all their ports. Though, to be fair, it looks like the orcs have done a pretty good job at destroying them, so it may not matter. Yeah, so we don't necessarily have to attack you on the same turn, although I don't see any reason why we wouldn't. Either way, Durthu... I guess we could support Durthu with these armies instead. I wonder, if you go here to support Durthu, would you still be able to attack this after? And at the same time, do we actually need you to support Durthu? What do we have here? I mean, it's a pretty good garrison. And a lot of ranged units. The flyers could certainly help, and if these guys aren't gonna be fighting... Also, though, let me just see about this. Dare Talk was going to trade stuff to Durthu anyway. You know what? Let's do that then. Let's put you here to attack. We will encircle the place. Do we need to give you points for this? Oh, we can get the Rage of Kurnos now. I don't think we need Awaken the Woods. It doesn't really help us at the current time. I do want to point in Pan's Impenetrable Pelt because you have the buffs for it. And let's get you Evasion as well. Nice. Very nice. And then the rest of you... Oh, wow, you have lots of points to spend. Alright, Magical Reserves, and then... Now, you know what? Let's get a point in... Well, 1 point in Flesh to Stone is sufficient. I do like Shield of Thorns, though, so let's get it maxed out. And you know what? I changed my mind. 1 point in Flesh to Stone, and then 2 points in Scouting. This will be the last time you're in Durthu's army. In fact, maybe this will just keep Durthu's army as it currently is for this fight specifically. Then, Deluric, this will also probably be one of your last fights before we make you go away. Let's get you the Penumbral Pendulum. I don't really care for Smoke and Mirrors, and a point in Awakening of the Wood as well. And next up, our Waystalker here. You will be transferred to the Elven army after this. You can have... I mean, we should probably start moving towards Prey of Anathema, so let's get you 1 point in Piercing Shots. These guys do occasionally run out of ammo, but Piercing Shots for now. And lastly, you. Dwellers Below or Regrowth both could be very useful in this particular situation. I'm gonna say, considering the amount of units there, we'll probably want the Dwellers Below. Let's get 1 point in Regrowth. And there we go. And that looks sufficient to me. And Daretalk, you're gonna move right... Wait. How close do you need to be here? Say like so. And yes, you're coming in as a reinforcement, good. And just to double check, are you now, if in March stance, yes, you're able to reach Val's Anvil, so if we wanted to, we could attack both at the same time. Beautiful. Alrighty, Durthu, time to go. Time to go, buddy. That's a lot of elves to kill, but you will be, I'm sure, happy. Not as happy as Drycha and Coadil, mind you, but you can give them the good news. Alrighty, here we go. Now this battle, I think, should be pretty darn interesting. Look at all the units that we're facing off. 2 full stacks and probably a stack or more of ranged units alone. Just all of these arrows about to fly. And of course, all those arrows will be focused down on Durthu and our treemen, as the AI certainly loves to target those. I do have to wonder the degree to which these guys will be able to damage our big boys here. We've also popped an immediate Pan's Impenetrable Pelt on Durthu just to get that extra physical resistance on him as well as everybody here. Of course, the melee defense is going to waste, but the extra little boost of speed will allow us to close the distance and just that little teensy bit quicker. We've also separated our army into essentially 2 blobs, one led, of course, by Durthu and one led by the Treeman, the regular Treeman being accompanied by the Malevolent Branch Wraith of Life so that she can heal this portion of the force, while Durthu's portion gets healed by the supporting spell singer, who's all the way back here, hiding so that she doesn't get shot down, rather. I sort of have PTSD with a ranged cast, with casters being shot down, since in my Kairos campaign, that happened to one of the poor, I think it was a herald, but it might have been a hero. Yeah, no, it was a hero, not a herald. As in an iridescent horror. But yeah, look at all those arrows. They really want to kill Durthu here, don't they? And in fact, let's just see here. He's lost about maybe 20% of his HP already, about 40 seconds in, and there's just so damn many range units that are going to continue focusing down, trying to focus him down. 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6, focusing him from far away, and I think these 3 were focusing him as well before he, entered into the fray there. Alrighty, and then over on this side, the same thing's trying to happen to the Tree Man, plus they have the Glade Captain and the Glade Lord both using their range attacks to fire on the Tree Man as well, so definite dangers there. We are, however, going to take advantage of the fact that these guys are focused away from the second blob and are trying to hit Durthu, and by hitting them in the side with the vast majority of units here, led by that Malevolent Branch Wraith, and hopefully they'll be able to stop all these range units from firing fairly quickly. And there we go. Really, it's just a matter of trying to engage as many enemy units as possible, and before they can do a lot of damage. Fortunately, I think a lot of splash damage is probably going to be hitting their own units as they try to kill Durthu as well. I also got to point out that we do have both Regrowth and a Healing Potion, so Durthu can take this for quite a while. I'm almost now wishing that I had given him the Iron Curse icon for that little extra bit of missile resistance. And just by virtue of how much they hate him. But it's okay. He's a big boy, he can tank some hits. There we go, and he's nearly back to full health after a regrowth, and then we still have that healing potion, and further regrowths, should we need them. Yeah, I also did try to cast the Lamentations of Despair here a bunch of times, but unfortunately Durthu has a very difficult time casting it. I know I've said this before, but I keep wanting to cast it, but it seems like it's not a good idea to even bother to try when you're in melee with him, and better to cast it while he's moving and not engaged. There we go. Well, he's having a grand time here, I think. Taking lots and lots of arrows back down to nearly half HP, but he's been keeping lots of units engaged here, and a lot of them are running away from them. Of course, they will be back, but by then, hopefully, we will have killed most of the enemy melee units, and thus be able to chase down the range. Also, we have our reinforcements now on the field. The forest dragons are up, and I've always loved the forest dragons, their wings, that they look like butterflies or moths or something like that. They look really neat. May not be the best dragon compared to, like, star dragons and such, but, definitely one of the cooler looking dragons. Anyway, these guys are on the field together with our 4 Great Hawks and our 2 units of Manticores, and they will all be dropping down on enemy ranged units. On this side, however, rather than on Durthu's side, we're going to start off by getting those noxious clouds, or I don't know what the green dragon breath name is, on top of the enemy units. We're going to pop both of those Manticores. As we've seen, they're fairly effective at killing single entities like this, so both of them are going to drop down and try to kill that enemy Glade Lord, while the dragons try to distract whatever units they can. The Eternal Guard and such are better off being distracted by the dragons rather than killing our poor hawks, which are, you know, very, very fragile and are much better used ripping apart those poor units of range. Alrighty, well done to the hawks. Let's check back on what's going on with the rest of the battle. The balance of power has shifted to our side, but of course, as soon as the reinforcing forces moved onto the field, that was bound to happen, so it isn't really reflective of what changed. Too bad that it changes when the reinforcements move on the field, I suppose. Maybe if there should have been 2. As in 2 balance of power bars. But anyway, Durthu has now reached his healing cap at about 75%, but he has used another regrowth and a healing potion, and has killed most, or at least, if not most, a lot of the melee units here, and will soon be able to push through. Over on this side, it looks like the Treemen and the Treekin are moving on to the field now as well to join the aerial forces, but at least the second portion of our units are doing pretty darn well. Even though Durthu's force is a little bit stymied and a little bit forced to stay where they are, and just to fight all those units, these guys are going to be moving up the ramp shortly. Of course, here we're experiencing one of the annoying things about the Hawks, and one of the reasons I don't like the Hawks unit, it's they don't have enough mass to get out, and this is obviously an issue with lots of aerial units, but as long as a few Hawks remain engaged, the rest of the Hawks don't want to move away from them. Which is obviously a big issue, because now most of these Hawks can't do anything until these units are dead, and we don't really want them fighting down here either, because they're a little bit too fragile to be fighting anti-large spear units. And frankly, they're probably too fragile to be fighting, really, any melee units at all. Even when hitting them in the back, we've seen them get very badly hurt doing so time and again. On the bright side, the dragons look like they're having a pretty great time and probably doing quite a bit of damage here. Ripping lots of enemies apart. I do believe that Glade Lord also ran away. He did come back, or he rallied rather, but now he could be killed very, very easily. We're also going to be up this ramp once again fairly shortly, as there's very few melee units remaining, and on top of that, the Treekin and the malevolent Treemen reinforcements are almost here, turning around for a second to break one of those barriers down. In addition, over on this side, as we can see, most of the enemy units are now engaged. We were able to get 1 unit of Great Hawks and 2 units of Manticores out of the press over on this side, and they are now engaging all these ranged units, preventing them from further firing on Durthu, and it looks like we're good. The battle may not be over, still plenty of units to kill, but now we're not concerned about getting ripped apart by thousands upon thousands of arrows. Lovely. And good job to both of the Manticores, each one for keeping a ranged unit from firing. They're obviously not going to kill them, but, well, I don't think they're going to get killed by a unit of Deepwood Scouts or whatever in melee, so... And that's perfectly fine by me. Ooh, I like the Wildwood Rangers, the sort of teal color scheme plus the black cloaks. It's pretty nice. Or wait, now these aren't War Dancers. What are you talking about? Yeah, they are Wildwood Rangers, okay. For a second I thought I had no idea what units looked like. Yeah, there are War Dancers among them, but it was the Wildwood Rangers I was talking about specifically, who are currently fighting some Treekin. Some non-malevolent Treekin. I like the idea of Durthu destroying all of these Azure holds in Athaloran, and afterwards having all of those malevolent Treekin and Treemen join his force, as he essentially becomes more and more malevolent as he keeps on killing the Azure everywhere. Alrighty, well, it looks like the rest of those range units are out of the picture, running away from the Manticores. We're doing a decent job at preventing them from doing anything, and let's see what else we have left. The enemy Glade Lord is still fighting. We're going to try to drop the Force Dragon down on him, but unfortunately the Force Dragon immediately gets focused down by a unit of Way Watchers, ooh, plus a unit of Glade Guard. And of course all the units that were guarding the enemy Lord. Unfortunately, the ranged focus does appear to be a little bit too much from the Force Dragon, who is in fact going to run the heck away from here before it can kill the Lord. Of course, we can pop a regrowth on it, so we're not really worried about it dying, but it is unfortunate that it couldn't do what it needed to do. We have finally managed to get our Hawks out of the press there, or at least some of the Hawks out of the press, so they can stop the Way Watchers and the Hagbane tips from firing here. And I do believe the battle should be ours very, very shortly. We still need to kill the enemy Lord, of course, but as we can see, the balance of power is like 90% at least in our favor. Lots of enemy units are routing and currently being chased off by Dryads and by Hawks, and, well, pretty much everything, really, while the tankier units move up north. Also, we have our Dragon who's come back, and our Spellsinger is running after the enemy Glade Lord, who is just trying to book it off the map. And I think the chain route is just about here. Alrighty, well, 2 stacks in one of these territories certainly gave us something to properly fight. Whereas when we attacked the Kingsglade with Durthu's army, it felt way, way too easy with only a single stack, because they just got overwhelmed incredibly quickly, kind of like the Dwarfs and Thorgrim there. But with 2 stacks, at least they have enough melee units to hold us back while those range units do some damage. I do really like that we got a lot of action for our Air Force here. Both our Manticores did quite a lot. They badly hurt the enemy Lord, they chased enemy units around and silenced some archers. Pretty great. And the Force Dragons got to play. Yeah, a little bit of a preview of the Air Force as we take as we take WYDRIOTH here. Now, we are going to take a few seconds to move all of our single entity units and pop some regrowths, as well as use some Earthbloods here. And it looks like we got both of the Forest Dragons nearly to full, or at least to 75%, and I think Durthu and the rest are nearly healthy. So, we're looking pretty good and are ready to hopefully take Torgabon as well. A free hawk companion. Alrighty, well, that went reasonably well. Unfortunately, one of our dryads got kind of badly damaged, but we're going to delete every single one of these dryads in a turn, roughly, so it doesn't really matter, and it's why Durthu tried to take the brunt of the damage there. Also, Durthu took so much damage due to so many ranged units focusing him down, and that was pretty interesting, and certainly he did reach his healing cap, so a little bit more focus fire, and maybe he could have gone down, in theory, but he had a healing potion, he had regrowth, and he had a decent amount of ward save available to him as well, so it looks like he did manage to survive and dish out 33,000 damage as well. Also, 106 kills on this Waystalker. That's kind of impressive, all things considered. I'm not even sure how he managed that. He was kind of just sitting back and firing the entire time, but good job. I mean, he did fire his Arrow of Kurnos, I suppose, so there was that. Plus, we got to see the aerial units in action, though once again the Great Hogs have trouble getting out of the fray once they're in. Alright, well, obviously we are taking the tree for ourselves. Subjugate, no, thank you. We can get a lot more mileage out of using this tree ourselves. We're an answer drummer, and there we go. WYDRIOTH has been destroyed, province secured. It is now ours, and just out of curiosity, oh, we can upgrade the tree immediately. Out of curiosity, what's the special building here? Lord Recruit rank +2 and a research rate. We were just talking about that. You know what? You know how this gives 10 research rate? I really strongly feel that Kingsglaive should do the same. Like, why is it just +2 rank for Forest Spirit and Flying Monster units? Give the +10% research rate as well. It's not like it's all that much anyway. Unbelievable. Well, that's pretty good. We are starting to already generate 2.3k, and while our money isn't quite zero yet, it could be. We do have 3 temporary armies on the field right now, so I think we'd actually be very much positive if we were to keep those. Also, this would allow us to get a new Glade Captain on the field. And a new Waystalker as well. Ooh, a disciplined Waystalker. You know what? I'll have to think about these. I do think that we should probably be deleting these things. Well, in particular, the area here, we don't need you. Although, wait, we kept the one here, right? No, we did not keep one here. Oh, man, okay. Because we still need several things that need to be built in this territory, like the Public Order building and the Eternal Watcher's Garrison, so some things have to go in favor of those. Likely what we'll do is we'll recruit heroes of each type and then delete these, and then replace them. I mean, I suppose we could also get rid of the Forest Lookouts. We don't really need them here, and in fact we don't have them in either of these places. I'm hoping that we don't need them. But that also might be what the last slot is once we figure some stuff out in terms of moving around which military buildings are in which place. Anyway, getting ahead of myself, this is where we're calling this episode because we're out of time. Next time we will probably attack Balzandal. I mean, we certainly could. Colas is in range, and Daemonhunters is as well. I do have to wonder what'll happen if we do that, though. As in, I was specifically going to attack WYDRIOTH because Torgavon was allied with Talzin as a defensive ally, but they didn't get drawn into the battle. Now I have to wonder whether Talzin will get drawn into the battle, forcing us to fight them after we just declared peace, which would cripple our reliability, maybe? I'm not sure, but I guess we'll have to find out next time, so stay tuned for the end of the fighting in Athelorn and the entire forest to be ours, and then we'll start moving out to fight some orcs here, as well as probably into several other locations. It's time to go to a few other of these trees, especially while the deep roots are cleared. Should be some fun stuff, stay tuned, don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.